There are a few different ways that you can create meal plans based on macros. If you're over in the meal planning section, you'll go to this add button in the right-hand corner. Then you can select the blank plan or the automator. We'll start with the automator. From here, give your plan a title, a description, select the number of weeks, and then you can toggle on or off any days of the week or any meal selections such as snack, lunch, dinner. We're going to take out the snacks for this example. Then hit next. From here, you can select a macro range. Using the automator, you can only select the range. You can't select exact macro percentages. So let's say we choose a balanced meal plan. Then you can select the calorie range. Make sure to give it some wiggle room so that the system has enough recipes to choose from. I'm going to give it about a 200 calorie wiggle room to make sure that there are plenty of recipes for the system to gather. So we'll give this about, there we go, a 200 calorie. Now we go over to the tags. You can add tags such as gluten-free. And then you can choose to toggle on the leftovers if you wish. Once I hit create, this will create a meal plan for us based on our macro selection. If the system is having a hard time creating and generating a meal plan, it is likely because your parameters are too strict. I would recommend removing the snack category since we have limited snacks that are based on tags. For example, we have certain parameters for our high protein tag, and many of those snacks do not fit into those parameters. So I would start by removing tags, and then you can always, removing snacks, and then you can always add in snacks afterwards. So you can edit this plan fully that it's generated for you. Now, another way is to go into the filter button, and you can do this from a blank plan. You can search for the nutrition data. So let's say we're looking for snacks. We'll add some snacks here that fit into a calorie range no more than 150 calories. And let's say we want these snacks to have at least 6 grams of protein. So you can adjust your macros here, just make sure that they agree with the calorie range, and then hit apply. So from there, we have a few snacks. Like mentioned before, we don't have too many snack options, so you may need to add some snack options if you want in here, but we are building every single month and adding every single month to the system. Now, I'll have to enable this column since we had disabled it in the beginning, and then you can drag and drop over your snack. Now you can also remove these columns if you don't like the way that looks. So that's how you create from the automator. Now you can also start from scratch and do very similar to how we just showed you at the end. So if you go to the meal planning section, add, and then hit a blank plan, again, you'll have to give it a title and a description. You'll have to select the categories that you want, and then hit create. From there, just like we showed you, use the filter button, go into the nutrition section, decide on how many calories you want per meal. So let's say we're aiming for approximately 500 calories per meal. Again, we'll give it some wiggle room. And then let's say we want at least 20 grams of protein per meal. And then we'll hit apply, and all of the meals that comply with that range will show up. Now, again, you can also add your tags in here. So if you're doing, let's say, a dairy-free plan, you can add that tag. Make sure with the tags, if you're excluding entire food groups, such as all dairy or all gluten or all nuts, that you use this tag section and not the exclude ingredients section. So if you want a nut-free plan and a dairy-free plan, you would go ahead and throw that into the tags. You can also select meal type. So if we are on lunch meals, for example, or let's do dinner meals, I'm going to apply those filters, and we'll get all of the recipes that, again, comply with our tags and our macro range. Oops, I didn't hit dinner. There we go, and apply. Okay, and then we can just drag and drop into our meal plan as so. You can choose leftovers if you'd like. You make sure that you put your servings per meal likely at 1, and that is how you create a meal plan based on your macros.